The ground shook like thunder. Smoke filled the sky and fire burned across the battlefield. Human soldiers shouted through the static of broken radios. Laser beams cut through the air like lightning. Among them was Aiden Cross, a young human warrior barely 20, his armor cracked. His heart racing, he could hear screams all around him, friends calling for help, commanders shouting orders that made no sense anymore. The alien army had surrounded them. Tall, silver-armored creatures with glowing blue eyes moved like ghosts through the dust. They were faster, stronger, and terrifyingly calm. Aiden ducked behind a fallen transport truck. His gun was almost out of charge. Sweat ran down his face as he whispered to himself, "Just one more fight, one more breath." He could see his squad, 5 soldiers cornered near the ridge. They were trapped. Without thinking, Aiden ran toward them. Plasma fire flashed past his head. The air burned his skin. He reached his friends and threw himself in front of them, firing wildly at the advancing aliens. 2 of them fell, but 10 more came. "Fall back," shouted one of the soldiers. "There's nowhere to fall," Aiden yelled. An explosion hit nearby. The world went white for a moment. When Aiden opened his eyes, everything was silent, his ears ringing, his hands trembling. His squad lay scattered, motionless. He crawled to the nearest soldier, shaking him. "Get up, we can't die here!" But there was no answer, and then he saw her. Through the smoke, a tall shadow appeared, a figure unlike any alien he had ever seen. She walked slowly, her long dark cape moving with the wind. Her armor shimmered like liquid metal. Her eyes glowed silver, bright and cold. Every alien soldier stopped when she appeared. They knelt, lowering their weapons. The alien queen had arrived. Aiden froze, his weapon shaking in his hand. He had heard stories, that she never showed mercy, that she ruled entire galaxies. They said even her voice could kill. She looked at him, straight into his eyes. For a moment, everything else disappeared, the fire, the noise, the fear. Only her and him. "Human," she said, her voice calm but powerful. "You fight like you wish to die." Aiden tried to lift his gun again, but his hand wouldn't stop shaking. "If I'm going to die," he said, "I'll die standing." Some of the alien generals stepped forward. "Your Majesty," one said, "he's just a human soldier. Let us finish him." The queen turned her head slowly toward them. "Finish him?" she repeated softly. Then she raised her hand. The air shimmered with strange energy. Every alien stopped moving. The ground cracked under her feet. "No one touches him," she said. Her voice echoed across the battlefield like thunder. "He's mine." The alien generals looked at one another, confused and frightened. No one dared to question her. Aiden stared at her, shocked. "What did you say?" he whispered. The queen stepped closer, her eyes glowing brighter. "You heard me, human. You belong to me now." Before Aiden could move, a beam of blue light surrounded him. His body felt weightless, pulled upward by invisible energy. He tried to fight, but the light was too strong. The world around him faded. He saw the battlefield getting smaller below him, the broken machines, the bodies, the fire, and the queen standing in the middle of it all, watching him rise. His last thought before darkness took him was full of confusion and fear. Why me? Why would the queen of all aliens claim a human soldier? The soldiers on the ground whispered among themselves. The queen claimed him? Impossible. She's never done that before. The legend began that day, the day an alien queen stopped a war to save one human. But for Aiden, the nightmare was only beginning. Aiden woke up to silence. No explosions, no screams, no burning air. Only a soft humming sound, low and musical like a heartbeat made of light. He opened his eyes slowly. The ceiling above him glowed golden, its surface smooth like glass but alive, breathing faint waves of energy. He sat up quickly, his body stiff and heavy. His wounds were gone. His armor had been cleaned and repaired, but he wasn't free. He looked around and realized he was inside a giant transparent room, not a prison made of metal bars, but one built of light. The walls shimmered like liquid gold. Whenever he moved closer, they pulsed softly, warning him not to touch. "This isn't a cage," he whispered. "It's a throne." The air was warm, perfumed with strange flowers he had never seen. Silver petals floated in the air, glowing softly like stars. Through the walls, he could see a vast alien city, towers of crystal floating in the sky, bridges made of light, and ships moving silently between them. It was beautiful and terrifying. Then the door appeared. It wasn't there a second ago. The golden light folded open, smooth, silent, and she walked in. The alien queen. Aiden froze. She wasn't wearing her battle armor now. Instead, she wore a long gown that moved like liquid night, covered in tiny stars that shimmered with every step. Her silver eyes glowed softer this time, but they still burned with power. Aiden stood up slowly. "Why am I here?" he asked, his voice unsteady. The queen didn't answer at first. She looked at him like a scientist studying something rare. "You are unusual," she said finally. "No human should have survived that battlefield. And yet you did." Aiden frowned. "You could have killed me. Why didn't you?" Her lips curved slightly. Not a smile, but something close. "Because I don't kill what I don't understand." He stepped forward. "Then let me go. I'm no threat to you." The queen tilted her head. "No. You are something far more dangerous than a threat." She moved closer until he could see the strange markings on her skin, glowing lines like constellations. "You remind me of someone," she said quietly. "Someone who died a long time ago." Aiden blinked. "What are you talking about?" The queen turned away, her voice colder now. "It doesn't matter. You will stay here until I decide what to do with you." She waved her hand and a small hovering orb appeared beside him, a glowing silver sphere with a soft voice. "This is Leary," the queen said. "It will watch over you." The orb chirped. "Greetings, human Aiden. Do not try to escape." "You will fail," Aiden sighed. "Yeah, thanks for the warm welcome." The queen stopped at the door. "Eat, rest, heal. You'll need your strength soon." Before he could ask why, she vanished into the golden light, leaving only silence behind. Hours passed. Aiden explored his glowing cage. There was no visible exit, no control panel, only smooth walls that responded to his presence with ripples of light. He found food, strange fruit that tasted like honey and air. The orb followed him everywhere, humming softly. He sat on the floor, staring at the endless alien city outside. "What does she want from me?" he whispered. Leary floated closer. "The queen has never claimed anyone before." "You are the first." Aiden looked at the orb sharply. "Claimed? What does that mean?" The orb flickered. "It means she has chosen you. No one questions the queen's choice." Aiden laughed bitterly. "Chosen? I'm not a pet. I'm a soldier." Leary beeped softly. "Then you should pray she does not tire of you, soldier." That night, Aiden dreamed of fire. The same battlefield, the same light. But this time, the queen stood beside him, her hand on his shoulder, whispering something he couldn't understand. When he woke, his heart was racing. He noticed something strange, and his wrist was glowing faintly, the same silver color as the queen's eyes. "What the hell?" he whispered, touching it. The light pulsed with his heartbeat. He ran to the wall, shouting, "Hey! What did you do to me?" The door opened again, but it wasn't the queen. It was a tall alien guard, his armor shining. "The queen wishes to see you," the guard said coldly. Aiden followed, walking through golden corridors that curved like living veins. Every wall hummed with soft energy. Other aliens stopped and stared as he passed, some in fear, others in hatred. He could hear whispers. "That's him." "The human she claimed?" "Why him?" Aiden's steps slowed. He felt the weight of hundreds of eyes on him. The alien guard stopped before a massive door, carved with symbols that glowed faintly. "She awaits," the guard said. The door slid open, revealing a grand hall filled with light, mist, and the sound of distant thunder. At the center stood the queen, her back to him, gazing at a huge floating crystal that showed moving images. Wars, planets, and a face. A human face. Aiden's breath caught. The man in the image looked exactly like him. He stepped forward slowly, heart pounding. "Who is that?" he asked. The queen turned her head slightly, her silver eyes glowing once more. Her voice was calm, but her words sent chills through his spine. "That was the first human I ever loved." Aiden stood frozen before the crystal. The human face glowing inside it looked too real. The same eyes, the same jawline, the same scar under the chin. It was like staring at a mirror from another lifetime. The alien queen turned to him slowly, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the soft light. "His name was Kale," she said quietly. "He was human. Like you." Aiden took a step closer. "You're telling me you knew a human before me? That's impossible. Humans never came this far into your empire. The queen's voice was calm, but her words carried weight. It was long before your time. Before your people even remembered our world existed. She moved toward the crystal and touched its surface. The image of Kale flickered, showing him standing beside her, smiling. Her voice softened, distant, almost broken. He came here as an explorer, brave, foolish, curious about everything. Aiden watched her closely. There was pain in her tone, the kind of pain that came from memory, not power. What happened to him? He asked. The queen's expression hardened. He died. Humans destroyed him, just as they destroyed my world. Aiden's throat tightened. You mean the war? She nodded. Your kind feared what they didn't understand. They bombed our cities, poisoned our oceans, left my people broken. Her voice grew darker, and when the war ended, I became the queen, sworn to never trust another human again. Aiden stepped closer, his voice low. Then why save me? Why say I'm yours? For a long moment, she didn't answer. Her eyes studied his face in a searching, remembering. Because when I saw you on that battlefield, I saw him again. The silence that followed felt heavy. The crystal pulsed softly, lighting both their faces in silver and gold. Aiden looked away, uneasy. I'm not him. I'm no one special. The queen turned, her cape flowing like smoke. Perhaps, she said, or perhaps fate brings back what time tries to erase. Later that night, Aiden was escorted back to his golden chamber. He couldn't sleep. The queen's words replayed in his mind. He was the first human I ever loved. He looked down at his wrist. The strange silver glow was still there, brighter now. Every time he thought of her, it pulsed, alive, almost as if it was answering something inside her. What's happening to me? He whispered, leery. The floating orb hummed beside him. Your body is changing, it said in its soft voice. The queen's energy connects to yours now. Aiden frowned. Connects? You mean she's controlling me? Not control, said Leary. Bond, she marked you. Marked me? Aiden repeated. Like a slave? The orb's light flickered nervously. No, like a chosen one. Her people will not harm you, but they will never accept you either. Days passed. Aiden began to walk the palace under the queen's permission. Everywhere he went, he felt the stares, and fear discussed curiosity. The aliens bowed to their queen, but they whispered about the human who walked beside her. He saw the world from her eyes now. Vast floating cities powered by crystals, sky temples filled with light and soldiers who bowed with perfect silence. Yet under all that beauty he could sense tension, cracks in her empire, whispers of rebellion. One evening, while wandering near the Hall of Archives, Aiden heard two alien advisors speaking in hushed voices. The queen grows weak, one said. Her obsession with the human blinds her judgment. If she truly believes he carries the spirit of Kale, the other whispered, then the old prophecy may return. We must stop it. Aiden's heart raced. Prophecy? What prophecy? He turned to leave, but a shadow fell behind him. A soft voice spoke. You shouldn't be here, human. He spun around. A young alien woman stood there, dressed like a royal servant. Her eyes weren't glowing silver like the queen's, but pale blue. Who are you? He asked. My name is Sira, she whispered. I serve the queen. But I also know her pain. Aiden frowned. You mean Kale? She nodded. He wasn't just a lover. He was her bond. Their souls were joined by the ancient rite of unity. When he died, she lost half of her spirit. Some say she never truly recovered. Aiden's chest tightened. And you think I'm him? Sira shook her head slowly. No, but your blood carries his echo. The queen feels it. That's why she claimed you. He stepped closer, confused. What do you mean, my blood? Before Sira could answer, the lights in the hall dimmed. The golden glow turned crimson. The orb beside Aiden buzzed with alarm. Warning, Leary said. Unauthorized activity near the royal chamber. Sira's face went pale. They've come for her, she whispered. Aiden grabbed her arm. Who? The council, she said. They plan to overthrow her tonight. They believe you are the reason she has lost her strength. Aiden's pulse quickened. Then we have to warn her. Sira hesitated. If you go, they will kill you. Aiden looked toward the queen's chamber, the same golden door glowing faintly at the end of the hall. She saved my life, he said firmly. Now it's my turn. He started running toward the light as alarms blared across the palace. The alien guards turned, their weapons glowing blue. The rebellion had begun. The golden palace of the alien world was never meant for war. But that night it became a battlefield. Sirens howled across the crystal towers. Guards ran through glowing corridors, shouting in their strange language. The soft hum of the city turned into a storm of sound. Aiden sprinted through the long hallways, his boots echoing on the shining floor. Behind him, the servant Sira followed, her breathing sharp and fast. The alarms painted everything red. "She's in danger," Aiden shouted. Sira nodded, fear flashing in her pale eyes. "The Royal Council wants to end her reign tonight. They think killing the Queen will break the bond between our worlds." Aiden didn't stop. "Not while I'm still breathing." The Queen's throne room was guarded by 2 massive alien soldiers. Their armor glowed like fire. Aiden raised the weapon he had taken from a fallen guard, a plasma blade that hummed with energy. The first soldier lunged forward. Aiden rolled aside, slicing upward. The weapon hissed as it cut through the alien's armor. The second guard struck from behind, but Aiden moved faster than he thought he could, his wrist glowing silver again. A pulse of light burst from his hand, throwing the attacker back. Sira gasped. "Your mark." It's reacting to her power. Aiden looked at the faint silver veins running across his arm. "I don't care what it is, I just need to reach her." They burst through the golden doors. Inside, the Queen stood on the high platform surrounded by the Rebel Council, 6 alien generals with weapons drawn. The floating crystal above her throne flickered as if it feared what was coming. One of the generals stepped forward. "Your reign ends tonight, my Queen," he said coldly. "You've betrayed your people, wife, for a human." The Queen's voice was calm, but her eyes burned. "You mistake compassion for weakness," the general sneered. "Then die with your weakness." He raised his weapon, but Aiden's shout cut through the air. "Get away from her." The rebels turned in surprise. Aiden charged, firing the plasma rifle he had stolen. Blue light streaked across the room, knocking 2 generals off their feet. Sira used her wrist device to blind the others with a flash of light. The Queen looked at Aiden, shock and something deeper in her eyes. "You came back," he smirked. "You saved me first. I'm just returning the favor." The chamber erupted into chaos. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled the air. The Queen moved with deadly grace, her silver eyes glowing brighter than the weapons around her. She raised her hand, summoning a wave of energy that shattered the floor beneath the rebels. But they were strong. One of them grabbed Aiden by the throat and slammed him into a wall. The alien's armor glowed red, draining Aiden's strength. "Your kind has no place here," the rebel hissed. Aiden struggled, gasping. "Guess I'll make one." He pulled the plasma knife from his belt and drove it into the alien's armor. The creature roared and collapsed. When Aiden turned, he saw 2 rebels cornering the Queen. One fired a bolt of black energy, something darker than plasma, something forbidden. The blast hit the Queen's chest. She staggered backward, her gown burning with sparks. "No!" Aiden shouted. He ran to her side, catching her before she fell. Her silver blood glowed through her armor. "You're hurt," he said desperately. The Queen touched his face, her fingers trembling. "It's nothing. Just an echo of what I deserve." "Don't say that," Aiden whispered. "You saved me." "You saved—" Another explosion cut him off. The last of the rebels activated a weapon, a small black sphere pulsing with unstable energy. Sira's eyes widened. "That's a void detonator. It will destroy the entire palace." The Queen pushed Aiden away. "Go now!" But Aiden didn't move. "Not without you." The Queen looked at him, really looked, as if seeing Kyle, the man she once loved, inside his eyes. "Stubborn human," she whispered. Then she raised her hand and sent a burst of silver energy through the room. The walls shimmered and a protective dome of light surrounded Aiden and Sira. The blast came a second later, silent, blinding, endless. When the light faded, the hall was gone. Dust floated where walls used to be. The Golden Palace was in ruins. Aiden stumbled out from the glowing shield, coughing, searching. "Queen, where are you?" He saw her lying on the shattered floor, her armor cracked, her crown broken. He ran to her, kneeling beside her. Her voice was faint. "You should have left." "Not a chance," Aiden said, gripping her hand. "You're not dying here," she smiled weakly. "You truly are like him." Her fingers brushed his glowing wrist. "Now you see why I said you're mine." Her energy flowed into him, a bright silver pulse that filled his veins with fire and light. The mark on his wrist spread across his body, burning with power. Aiden gasped as the Queen's eyes dimmed, but her voice echoed in his mind. Live, Aiden, and remember me. When the smoke cleared, the rebellion was over. The rebels lay defeated, their weapons silent. Sierra stood in shock, staring at Aiden, his body surrounded by faint silver light. The bond is complete, she whispered. She gave you her power. Aiden looked toward the horizon where the city burned under 2 moons. His heart was heavy, his body trembling with new strength. She saved me again, he said quietly. Now I'll save her world. The palace was quiet now. Too quiet. The flames had faded into soft golden embers, and the once bright city hung in silence under the 2 moons. Aiden stood among the ruins, his heart pounding. The silver glow from his skin had dimmed but not vanished. It pulsed softly under his veins, alive, warm, powerful. He knelt beside the fallen queen. Her body was still, her face peaceful, like a sleeping goddess. The wind carried a faint echo of her voice, the last words she had whispered to him. Live, Aiden, and remember me. Sierra stood behind him, trembling. She's gone, she said softly. Aiden shook his head. No, I can feel her. He touched his chest where his heart burned with that same strange light. She's still here, inside me. The servant stared at him, eyes wide. You carry her energy now. That bond wasn't just symbolic. She passed her essence into you. Aiden looked down at his hands. They glowed faintly, silver threads running through his skin like starlight. What am I becoming? Sierra hesitated, then whispered, Maybe, what she always meant you to be. Hours later, they reached the Hall of Archives deep below the ruined palace. The doors were ancient, covered in alien markings that shimmered faintly as Aiden approached. The glow from his wrist reacted to them, opening the way. Inside, endless walls of light stretched into darkness, holographic scrolls, images, and forgotten history. Sierra moved carefully, guiding him. This is where the truth of her bloodline sleeps, she said. No one outside the royal family is allowed here. Aiden's mark pulsed brighter. Guess I'm family now. They stopped before a tall crystal pillar that hummed softly. Sierra pressed her hand to its surface. This archive is linked to the Queen's consciousness. With her gone, only someone who shares her energy can unlock it. Aiden nodded slowly. Then let's see what she wanted me to know. He placed his hand on the crystal. The room filled with silver light. Images appeared, planets, stars, battles long forgotten. And then he saw something that made his heart freeze. It was Earth. Not the modern one, but an ancient version, filled with strange energy fields. A voice echoed through the chamber, the Queen's voice, calm and haunting. Before the war, before your kind forgot us, there was peace between humans and my ancestors. We shared knowledge, blood, and love. The image changed, showing a human man standing beside an alien woman who looked almost like the Queen. Their hands touched, and the stars around them pulsed brighter. From that union came a child, neither fully human nor alien, a bridge between 2 species. But your people feared what they had created, and they destroyed it. Aiden's eyes widened. A hybrid? Sierra nodded slowly. Yes, the first of your kind. The Queen's ancestors carried traces of human DNA ever since that day. The Queen's voice continued. I am the last of that bloodline. Until I met you, Aiden. You carry the same code, the same ancient spark. You are the echo of what was lost. Aiden's breath caught. She knew. She knew all along. Sierra looked at him, awe in her voice. That's why she claimed you. She didn't just see you, she recognized you. You're part of her history. Aiden's chest tightened. Then everything. The war, the bond, the pain, it's all connected to me. Sierra lowered her head. Yes, you are the key that can end this endless cycle. Or repeat it. Suddenly the ground trembled. The walls of light flickered. Aiden spun around. What now? Sierra's eyes widened in fear. The rebels who survived, they're reactivating the war machines. They mean to erase all proof of the Queen's past. Aiden clenched his fists. The silver light in his body flared brighter. Then I'll stop them. Sierra stepped back, shielding her eyes from the glow. Aiden, your power, it's unstable. You're not ready. He looked at her, his eyes now glowing like the Queen's. I don't have time to be ready. He raised his hand, and the crystal pillar shattered into 1,000 floating shards. Each piece carried part of the Queen's essence, her voice, her memories, her power. They swirled around him like a storm of light. The Queen's whisper echoed through the chamber. My legacy lives through you. Protect them even when they fear you. Aiden's voice trembled. I will. I promise. When he stepped out of the archives, the sky above was dark, filled with smoke and lightning. Alien ships hovered like predators, charging their weapons. The rebellion wasn't over, and it was reborn. Sierra looked at him in awe and fear. What are you going to do? Aiden turned toward the battlefield, silver fire swirling in his eyes. I'm going to end what they started, and show them that a human heart and alien power can save this galaxy. He looked once more at the twin moons, the same light the Queen loved to watch. You gave me your strength, he whispered. Now I'll give them peace. The wind rose, carrying her faint voice again. The stars remember you, Aiden. He closed his eyes, the silver light bursting from his body as he took flight into the storm. Half human, half alien, the bridge between two worlds. Lightning danced across the alien sky. Silver rain poured down on the shattered palace as Aiden stood at the edge of the ruins, the mark on his wrist glowing like molten fire. The storm followed him wherever he moved, as if the heavens themselves answered his rage. Below, the rebels regrouped. Dozens of ships hovered over the burning city, their engines roaring like beasts. They wanted to erase the Queen's memory and kill the last living trace of her power. Aiden's voice was low, trembling with fury. You took her from me once. Never again. He raised his hands and the air around him cracked. Silver energy spiraled outward, lifting him high above the battlefield. Every rebel soldier looked up, a human glowing brighter than any star in their sky. Target him, shouted a commander. Energy blasts shot through the storm, but Aiden moved faster than their eyes could track. He spun through the air, silver trails following him, each movement sharper, faster, filled with unstoppable fury. He struck back, his palms glowing, sending waves of light that tore through enemy ships. The explosions painted the sky in gold and blue. Far below, Sierra watched from the ruins, shielding her face from the blinding light. He's not just human anymore, she whispered. He's becoming something greater. The orb Leary floated beside her, voice trembling. His energy levels are off the charts. If he doesn't control it, he'll burn himself alive. Sierra shook her head. He's not fighting to survive. He's fighting to protect what he loves. In the heart of the storm, Aiden heard her voice again. The Queen's voice, soft but powerful, echoing through his mind. Aiden, my warrior of two worlds, you carry my fury now. But remember, power without purpose destroys. He closed his eyes for a brief second, letting the silver storm surround him. I'm not destroying, I'm saving you. The light inside him shifted, and less rage, more control. He dived downward, landing hard on the central bridge where the rebel general waited, the same alien who had led the coup. The general snarled, drawing his black plasma blade. You don't belong here, hybrid. You're a mistake of two dying races. Aiden's eyes glowed brighter. Then I'll be the mistake that ends your war. Their blades clashed. Sparks flew across the bridge. Every strike echoed like thunder. The general fought with precision, power, and hate, but Aiden fought with purpose. The silver veins on his arm pulsed in rhythm with the Queen's heartbeat, the one that now lived inside him. Each pulse made him stronger. The general lunged, cutting across Aiden's side. Pain flashed through him, but he didn't stop. He pushed forward, channeling all his strength into one final strike. His blade shattered the general's armor, releasing a burst of blinding light. The rebel leader fell, defeated. Aiden stood over him, chest heaving. It's over, he said, but the general laughed weakly. You think killing me ends this? The machines are already awake. They will destroy everything, human and alien alike. Aiden's eyes widened. What machines? The ground shook violently. From beneath the city, giant towers of black metal began to rise, ancient war machines from the Queen's ancestors, built for destruction and sealed away for centuries. Each one glowed with crimson light, feeding on the chaos. Sierra's voice came through his communicator. Aiden, they're powered by the old bloodline. Only the Queen could control them, or someone who carries her energy. Aiden looked at his glowing hands. Then that's me. He closed his eyes, focusing on the mark on his wrist. The silver light spread across his body, merging with the storm. The machines turned toward him, charging their weapons. He raised his arms, shouting into the wind, You served her once. Serve her again! For a moment the world froze. The lightning stopped. The machines hesitated, and then they obeyed. The red light in their cores shifted to silver. They turned their weapons, firing not at Aiden but at the rebel fleet above. Explosions filled the sky. The rebellion was crushed in minutes. The storm faded, replaced by soft, glowing rain that fell gently across the city. Aiden dropped to his knees, exhausted, breathing hard. The machines went still, waiting, silent guardians of the fallen queen. Sierra ran to him, kneeling beside his side. "You did it," she whispered. Aiden looked up at the twin moons. "No, we did. Her and me." Sierra frowned. "Her spirit still lives in you, doesn't it?" He nodded weakly. "She's not gone. She's part of me now, her strength, her memories, even her pain." He looked down at his hands, still faintly glowing. "She gave me her fury to save this world. But now it's my turn to give it peace." Sierra smiled sadly. "Then what will you do now?" Aiden stared at the horizon, where the light of dawn began to break through the storm clouds. "End the cycle. Unite our worlds. No more hatred." As he stood, a faint whisper echoed in the wind, her voice soft and loving. "You are my legacy, Aiden, and my love." A single tear slipped down his face. He smiled toward the sky. "I know. The war was over." The sky above the alien capital glowed soft silver, no longer torn by fire or storm. Broken ships floated in the air like silent ghosts, their lights flickering out one by one. Aiden Cross stood at the heart of the ruined city, the same place where everything had begun. His armor was cracked, his body covered in dust and dried blood, but his eyes glowed faintly with the same silver fire that once belonged to the Queen. Around him, both humans and aliens gathered. The surviving soldiers of two enemies now stood side by side, confused, tired, and unsure of what came next. Sierra approached quietly, her cloak fluttering in the wind. "They're waiting for you," she said softly. Aiden didn't move at first. He looked toward the sky where the twin moons hung close together, one blue, one gold, like two souls finally reunited. "She loved this view," he murmured. Sierra nodded. She believed the moons represented balance, two sides meant to be one. Aiden smiled faintly. Maybe she was right. He stepped forward onto a broken platform high above the crowd. The wind carried the scent of smoke and starlight. Every face turned toward him, human and alien alike. For the first time in history, there was silence between them. Aiden raised his voice. "The Queen is gone, but not forgotten. She gave her life to end this war, to save all of us." The aliens bowed their heads. The humans lowered their weapons. "She saw something in me," Aiden continued. "Something I didn't understand at first. A bridge between our worlds. Between hate and hope. Between blood and mercy." He looked down at his glowing hands. "I carry her within me now. Her power, her memory, and her love. I can't be her, but I can finish what she started." A murmur spread through the crowd. One alien general stepped forward, the same one who had once called for Aiden's death. He knelt, placing his weapon on the ground. "Then we follow you," he said. "The heir of the Queen's light." Sierra smiled through her tears. "Heir of two worlds," she whispered. Aiden looked across the sea of faces, soldiers, survivors, refugees. He could feel the Queen's voice in his mind, gentle and warm. "You see them now, Aiden. They are not so different. All they needed was someone who could love both sides." He closed his eyes, letting the words settle in his heart. Over the next weeks, the city began to heal. The machines that once served war now rebuilt homes and gardens. The Golden Palace rose again, not as a fortress but as a hall of unity, open to both species. Aiden led without a throne. He refused the title of king. Instead, he walked among the people, helping, teaching, listening. Wherever he went, the silver light followed, bringing warmth and peace. Children, both human and alien, ran through the streets together. The soldiers who had once pointed guns at each other now shared stories around campfires. And at night, Aiden would climb the high tower and look to the stars. Sometimes, when the wind was quiet, he could hear her voice. "You've done well, my warrior." He would smile and whisper back, "Couldn't have done it without you." But peace never came easy. Old fears remained. Some humans distrusted the aliens. Some aliens still hated the humans. Aiden knew it would take generations to heal what centuries had broken. That was the Queen's final lesson. Peace isn't given, it's built. Brick by brick, heart by heart, Sierra joined him one night on the tower. You could return to Earth, she said. Start over. Live free, Aiden shook his head. Earth is part of me, but this is where I belong. Between both worlds, protecting the promise she died for. He gazed at the horizon where the twin moons touched. The stars shimmered like her eyes, silver and endless. She said I was hers, he whispered. Maybe that was never about ownership. Maybe she meant I was her hope. Sierra smiled softly. Then keep it alive. Years passed. The galaxy began to change. Trade, peace treaties, shared colonies. Things that once seemed impossible became real. Across star systems, the story spread. The tale of a human warrior and the alien queen who defied destiny. They called him many names. The Lightbearer. The Hybrid King. The heir of two worlds. But Aiden preferred one name, the one she had given him. My warrior. One evening, standing under the twin moons, Aiden closed his eyes. He felt her presence again, soft as a memory, strong as the stars. Her voice echoed gently. I told them you were mine, Aiden. Now the stars are yours. He smiled, lifting his hand toward the endless sky. Silver light flowed from his palm, spreading across the heavens like a living constellation. For the first time in 1,000 years, both humans and aliens looked up together, united under one light. The Queen's legacy lived on, through him, and somewhere beyond the stars, she smiled.